Welcome. Welcome everyone to this live video. And today we're going to be talking about secret fast fluency techniques. These are fast ways that you can improve your fluency. We're just going live right now, and I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to join this live call, and then we'll get started. But before we jump in, for everyone who watches the recording of this later, or everyone who joins late or isn't able to be here live, I want to let you know that we are having a free seminar that you can join. I'll put the link in the comments, and we are doing that very soon. So you can click on that link, you can register for that free seminar, and you can learn more there. Now, fast fluency techniques are ways that you can improve your English very quickly. And the thing is that a lot of people believe it takes years and years to become fluent in English, and that's just not true. In fact, today it's faster than ever before to become fluent and for you to start speaking with other people. There are so many tools, so many resources, and great methods and strategies that you can use, and they will greatly improve your English very quickly. So, again, if you're not here live, if you're watching the recording, there's a link in the chat. Let me put it here now for our free seminar, and you can register for that and join the next free seminar that we're having. The next one starts very soon. In fact, right after this, we're doing another one. So if you always have thought that you can't speak English, or that it's too difficult, or the pronunciation is hard, or nobody understands you, or you're just not confident when you speak, then I have something very special for you today, because we're going to talk about the fastest way for you to start speaking and for you to really get a result from English. Now, let's talk about that, because when we say I'm going to show you fast fluency techniques, what does fluency really mean to you? What results do you really want to get from English? That's an important question for you to ask yourself. And it's an important question for anyone who's learning or teaching English to have in their mind. Because fluency means something different to a lot of different people. There are different reasons why people study English. And if you know the reason why you're learning English, then it's going to be much easier for you to get there faster. If you don't really know, if you say, I just need English because everyone tells me I need English, or if you say, I need English because everyone in the world speaks English, well, that's not a very clear outcome or result that you want to get. So a clear outcome from learning and studying English is, for example, when you need it for your job, you need English to speak with clients and to get sales, to close deals, to create deal flow, right? These are real reasons. They're real things that you need outside of English. And when you have this goal in mind, when you know what you need, then that lets you move there very quickly. You see, the thing is, nobody really just wants English for English, and nobody needs English just to be able to speak English alone. You need English for something else. It's a tool, it's an instrument that gives you something else. And that's the most important thing to remember, is that you're not just learning English for English. So when you're imagining how you're going to learn all of these words and rules and pronunciation, you don't really need to focus on that. That's what most of the textbooks tell you. That's what most of the teachers tell you. But that's not really the reason that you should be studying English. You should have a bigger goal. And this is probably one of the most important things if you want to actually become fluent very quickly. So if you have been studying for a long time and you've been learning all these words and rules and pronunciation and everything like that, you need to rethink this. You need to try again and understand what the real reason is. There's only a few reasons why people learn English, real reasons. One is for relationships, to connect with other people, right? So maybe you have a family member or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or friend. Maybe there are people who you know now and you want to communicate with them in English or communicate with them better. Maybe there are people who you want to meet in the future and you want to form new relationships or better relationships in the future. That's a reason to learn English, right? Another reason to learn English is if you are in business, right? There are a lot of business reasons to learn English or to learn any language. And that might be to get more clients. It might be to work with customers internationally. It might be to start a business in another country. So these are some good reasons to learn English. You need to have that reason if you want to move there quickly. Because every person who I've met in the last 15 years of teaching English, if they say, I just want English because I like speaking English, then it takes them a long time to become fluent. So, one other reason that you might be learning English is because you want more opportunities, right? So this is a bigger, broader one, but if that's your goal, if that's why you're learning English, then it's really about relationships or money, right? For example, would you learn English instead of learning Swahili? It's because you believe that there are some certain relationships that you're going to make, connections that you're going to make that require English, or that there are business relationships that you're going to make, or there are business deals that you're going to have that are going to require English, right? So these are the real reasons why people learn English. Just learning English for English is not a real reason. And that's a lot of people forget that, okay? And that's really the reason why when you see all of the teachers and schools and books that are telling you about all of the rules, that's great. That's a piece of English, but that doesn't really focus on the bigger reason why you need it. So, what I want to do right now is we gave everyone a few minutes to join. Now we have some people watching. That's great. And I want to tell you, if you're watching live, then I'm going to invite you at the end of this YouTube live video. I'm going to invite you over to Zoom. I'm going to give you the link and we're going to talk face to face. You're going to practice speaking with me. And so that's something special I'm going to do for the people who are watching and who stay watching until the end. And I also told you that if you're not watching live, then in the chat, I've put a link to our free seminar, which is starting very soon. So click that link, register for the seminar, and you can learn more there. But for everybody who's here with me right now, here's what I want you to do. Write in the chat, let me know where you're from, and let me know the real reason you're learning English. Again, the real reason you're learning English is not just English. It's not just to be fluent. The real reason you're learning English is to get a real result in your life. That's going to be relationships or money, usually. And maybe it's some kinds of other opportunities, but those opportunities are usually connected to relationships or to money. These are the real reasons that people learn English, so that you can get something real in the world, right? You don't just talk to yourself. That's not why you learn a language. You use the language to get another result. English is not the final result. It's the connecting piece to other things. So that's the most important thing to understand if you're building fluency. Great. So write in the chat, let me know where you're from and let me know what the real reason is that you're learning English. And again, if you stay until the end of our live call here on YouTube, then I'm going to send you the Zoom link so that you can come and practice with me right after this. Great. So as people start writing in the chat and we start getting people watching here, we're going to jump into our fast fluency techniques. And the first fluency technique is something that you've probably heard many times, but you maybe didn't know how to use it. And this is real communication, right? Real communication is one of the most important parts of becoming fluent in English very quickly, or any language. I can tell you my story about how I became fluent in Russian when I lived in Russia. And I did that by always finding people to communicate with. And sometimes that was online. In fact, in the beginning, I didn't know anybody. I went online, I found people to speak with, I found people to communicate with in writing, and then I found people to meet with. And then I found groups of people who were practicing, and through there created relationships and went into normal, regular, everyday situations where I was able to then practice speaking with those people. Okay? That's the most important aspect, is to find your community, to find your group, to find your people who are going to be doing similar activities to you, have similar interests to you. And so when you are speaking, you guys are going to be speaking about the same kinds of topics. You're going to be thinking in the same direction. You're going to go to the same places. That's what you need. You need a community of people who are like you, who are as serious about this as you are. That's one of the fastest ways to build fluency, because you're actually in real situations with real people. Now, you can do this virtually. You can do this online. You don't have to physically go to different places and be there physically with people. But offline and online have different benefits. So if you do this online, you can do it very comfortably, right? You can do it pretty much any time that you want. There are people around the world that you can interact with, and this is great. It makes it very easy for you to do it. In fact, we have one of these communities where we've seen people just boost their fluency so fast. And it's because they interact with me, with other teachers, with other students from around the world. And we talk about all kinds of different topics. People share different opinions, but everybody's there because they're serious about becoming fluent in English. And that's really important. So you find your group of people, your community. If you don't have one, then you should come check out ours. In fact, I'll put the link to that here in the chat. It's called Everyday English. So you can go over to our website and you can become part of that. And there's lessons every day where you can practice speaking with me, with professional teachers, with students from around the world. And then inside of the community, there are challenges. There's a live room. So anytime you can just open the live room and speak with anybody who's there. You can chat with people on there. You can post on there. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to practice English and become fluent. But the most important part is the connection to other people. Okay? The most important part is the connection to other people and actually meeting people and trying to get a real result. So again, anybody who's coming late, a real result. We talked about this earlier in this call, but a real result is never just English. English is never the final result that you want to get. A lot of people make this mistake. A lot of people have this problem in how they think about learning English. They think that English is about English. It's not. English is just a small connecting piece. So if you're just joining us now, write where you're from in the chat, write the real reason why you're learning English. And we'll talk more about that as we continue to share our fast fluency techniques. Okay. And if you stay until the end of this call, then I'm going to share a Zoom link with you where you can come on and speak with me face to face. Great. So again, the real reason that you're learning English is never just English. It's not so you can speak perfectly. It's not so you can sound like a native speaker. A lot of people say that. A lot of people sell courses like that. That's not the reason. That's never the reason. The real reason that anybody learns English is to get another result in the real world. And there are only a few of those results. 99% of the time, the real reason that someone wants to learn English is either relationships or money. Relationships or money. And some people might talk about it like they want to get more opportunities, but those are opportunities for relationships and for money. Those are the real reasons why people learn English. So if you are learning English for relationships, that might be family members, it might be friends, it might be new relationships that you want to have. It might be business relationships, and then it's connected to money, right? Because a lot of people learn English so they can get a better job. That's money. So they can work with international clients or international companies. That's money. Okay? So that they can more effectively sell to more people around the world. That's money. So it's relationships and money that most people want, and that's why they study English. So think about what the real reason is for you, because it's never just English. Never. I've been doing this for 15 years or more now, and I can tell you the people who know that they want relationships or they want money, and then that's the reason that they're learning English, they become fluent so much faster than the people who pretend, who say that they just want English for English, that they just want English because they like speaking English or because everybody in the world speaks English or something like that. Okay. Now you might also say that English is for traveling, right? It's for traveling, and it's for learning information, learning more information. But again, what are you getting from traveling, or what are you getting from learning more information? That will show you the real reason. So you know the real reason, you're going to go a lot faster. Next, we talked about the first fast fluency technique, which is to find your circle, to find your group, to find your community. You need to have other people who you're practicing with. You need to have other people who you're not just practicing with, but who are moving in the same direction as you, who are as serious as you about becoming fluent in English and about getting a big result. And so when you know the real reason that you're learning English, you can also find people who are moving in that direction. And you can do this online or you can do this offline. And at the end of this live call, I'm going to share a Zoom link for everyone who's watching until the end, and you can come on and speak with me face to face. Okay, at the very end of this live call on YouTube, I'm going to share that link, and then we'll jump right into that Zoom call. And we can talk more about that with more details. But just know that offline, when you're not on the computer, you can meet groups of people and you can go out and you can put yourself in situations where you need to practice English and you need to speak about different topics. But you can also very easily do this online. And that's why we've created the English Everyday community. I put the link in the chat already. And the English Everyday community gives you access to me, to professional teachers, to students from around the world, and everybody is there because they're using English for a real reason, to get a very specific result in their life. They're not just there for English. It's not just English for English, right? Pronunciation, a lot of people think they have to have perfect pronunciation or they have to speak like a native speaker. And that's absolutely not true. Some of the most successful people I know are not native speakers and don't sound like native speakers and have a very thick accent, and they don't care. That's the most important thing about pronunciation, is that when you care too much, you think too much about how you make the sounds, and then you speak more slowly, you don't speak naturally, and that's what sounds strange. You see, you can sound very natural in a language with an accent. Yes, a lot of people think that those two things don't go together, but they do. Have an accent and you can speak fluently and naturally. And when it comes to grammar, people think they have to have perfect grammar and never make a mistake. That's not true. You can make lots of mistakes and you can still connect with people. You can still build relationships. You can still do business with people. You can still use English to make money. You can still get a better job. I met a person just the other day who's a professional English teacher in the United States at a school in the United States. He has a very thick accent. He doesn't speak correctly all the time, and that's fine. And you see, he got that job because that's not what's important about language. You see, so many YouTubers and English books and English schools and courses, they tell you that you have to have perfect grammar and pronunciation. You have to know thousands of words. It's just not true. It's just not true. There are even whole YouTube channels that are trying to tell you that other people are wrong and we're right. It's a big joke, and a lot of people follow them and believe them, but it's not true. Really, the only thing that is holding you back from using English to get real results in your life is what's up here. It's what you believe about using the language. And usually, this is all connected to thinking that English is the final result, which it is not. There's another result, a real result that you want to get. And that's not just about English. If you could use a different language to get that result, you would. And that's the honest truth about why people learn languages. So again, if you're watching live, at the end of this live call, I'm going to share a Zoom link, and then you can come on the Zoom call with me and we'll speak face to face. For now, I'm just sharing some of our fast fluency techniques. So the first one was find your circle, find your group, find your community. You need that practice. You need to practice. You need to find people who are serious and who have a similar goal to you. And again, the goal, the result is not just English. I can't say it enough times because 99% of English learners out there, they have the wrong information about this. They think they have to speak perfectly, and they think that it's all about English and that English is the final result that they're trying to get, and it's not. And once you ask them a few questions about it, then you find out that that's not really the result. And so they're very confused, and it's really because of those teachers out there and courses and books that are telling people that English is the final result, that English has to be perfect, that other people are wrong and they're right, and that's not how language works, right? Language is a middle piece to get somewhere else. And so you can use it in many different ways. Great. So I see we have a few people in the chat. Chaya, Nirvana, Mary from Kiribati. Cool. Thanks for joining us live here. And at the end of this live call, I'm going to share a Zoom link, and I'm going to invite you to speak with me face to face. Okay, let's talk about another fast fluency technique. And this fast fluency technique is one that maybe you haven't heard of before, but it's about mistakes. And a lot of people think you can't make mistakes or you shouldn't make mistakes. And the truth is, what is a mistake? Just thinking about mistakes will cause you to make more mistakes, right? If in your mind you're constantly thinking, oh, I can't make a mistake, I have to say it correctly, oh, I didn't say it the right way, well, that's just going to make you make more mistakes. and it's going to slow you down and make you sound unnatural. You see, what does it mean to sound natural in a language? What does it mean to be fluent in a language? The word fluent comes from an older word from Latin, flux, which is about change. It's about flow, like water. Water flows in a river. It moves naturally. There's nothing breaking it in the middle. That's what fluency is. It's a flow of language. It's a flow of you producing the language. Okay? So that's what fluency is. Sounding natural means that you have this flow. And yes, you can have flow, you can have fluency in a language without perfect grammar, without perfect pronunciation, with only knowing a few hundred words. Yes, you can have flow. You can be fluent. So we need to understand that that is what fluency really is. And it's not what someone on YouTube tells you is right or wrong. It's not what a book tells you is right or wrong. It's not what a teacher in your school or university or a course or an online program. It's nobody can tell you that because you flow differently in different situations. And so if you are in if you have a lot of practice speaking to people in regular everyday situations, then your fluency is going to be much better because it will be faster and easier for the signals in your brain to connect and produce those sounds and words. So if we want to move quickly, right, to reach fast fluency, then what we need to do is shorten the time between thought and speech so that you think it and then you say it. That doesn't mean that you just have to speak and speak and speak and speak constantly without stopping. Natural speakers of a language, they naturally take pauses in their speech. That's a natural way to speak, is to have pauses. Okay? You don't have to just speak endlessly. That's not fluent. In fact, a lot of times when a person just keeps speaking and speaking and speaking without pausing, without stopping, it sounds unnatural because that's not a real conversation. In a real conversation, you speak and then the other person speaks. You take turns. So, this is very important to know. What is fluency to you? What is fluency to you? What does that even mean? To me, fluency is about flow. And I know a lot of people who are not native speakers, who don't have perfect pronunciation, who don't have perfect grammar, don't know lots of words. I know so many of these people who have flow when they speak English, and I would say that they are fluent. I would say that they are fluent. And the most important thing is that they are trying to use English to get a bigger result. They're not worried about the English itself. So, quick reminder for all the new people who are watching, at the end of this live call, I'm going to give you a Zoom link so you can join the Zoom call and you can speak with me face to face. We're going to go for a few more minutes here live on YouTube, and then I'll give you that link. So keep watching. So today we're talking about fast fluency techniques. And the first thing that we have to know before we even think about fluency is what is the real result? So I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I already said. A real result is something that you're going to use in your life. It's not English. English is not the final result that you're trying to get. You can tell me all the reasons why it is. I don't believe it. After all of these years of teaching, since 2009, millions of people have taught millions of students around the world. And I've seen the people who know the real result that they want to get, they become fluent much faster. So what's the real result that you're trying to get? It's not English. English is just a step to another result. We talked about why you need to find your circle, your community, your group of people, and that can be online or offline. And I even gave you a link in the chat so that you can look at our English Everyday community and you can find those people right now to practice speaking with. And then the next thing is, what is fluency to you? What does it mean to sound natural? It's about flow. It's about putting the words together without stopping. And the biggest thing that makes you stop, that breaks your flow, that stops you from being fluent in any language is thinking about how you use the language. You see, that's why you need to jump into conversation. You need to start speaking, even if it's scary, even if you're making mistakes, especially to make mistakes so that you can learn from that. This is the most important lesson that I can teach you. And the most effective way to learn English, it's not, the best teacher is not going to be the person who teaches you the rules. The best teacher is not going to be the person who teaches you words. You can use YouTube, you can use books, there are plenty of people who are ready to do that and help you with that. The best teacher is going to change how you think about using all of these things. Why do you need those words? Why do you need that grammar? Why do you need to pronounce things a certain way? Do you need that? In many cases, you don't. You see, you don't. That's why people waste so much time and they never become fluent. And it's sad. And I see it every day. And so what I want to do right now is I want to actually speak with you. That is how I'm going to help you, by actually speaking so that you have practice communicating, and then also sharing some more of these ideas about how you need to think about learning language, learning English, using English to get a real result in your life. So you can take your head out of the textbook. So you can stop just repeating what the teacher on YouTube is saying, why they're saying that they're right and everybody else is wrong. Okay? You can't just copy people. It doesn't work like that. That's not how language works. So I'm going to give you the link to the Zoom call right now. And when I give you this link, you'll just click it and then come over to the Zoom call with me. And that's where I'm going to help you personally, and you'll speak with me face to face. Okay? Now, for everybody who's watching the recording, or everyone who was not live here, there's also a link in the chat to join our free seminar. And there's another free seminar starting very soon. We do a lot of these free seminars, but not all the time. So there's one starting soon. You don't want to miss this one. It's a special one. But right after this, we're going to start that. So just in 15 or 20 minutes. But if you're here live with me still right now, then I invite you over to Zoom with me. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. All right, there it is. So everybody who is live here with me, watching me live, then click that link, come over to Zoom. In just a couple of minutes, I'm going to end this live call on YouTube and I'm going to open Zoom and we'll speak face to face. And I'll show you how to use these fast fluency techniques in a more specific way. All right, we'll talk about how to put it into practice in your life. We're going to talk about how to get the results that you want and how to use English to get there. Remember, English is not the final result. It never is. And so we're going to talk about that and help make sure that you're on the right path, which is the fastest path to English fluency. This is very important information, very important stuff. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who are trying to sell you things that are not going to help you the fastest way. And not only sell you, but just trying to give you information about how everybody else is wrong and they're right and they're better than dictionaries and books. And it's not about that. Those things are made for a different purpose. You use them to get the rules, to get the grammar, to get the words. But the best teacher is going to help you in how you think in English. That's what I do. So click the link in the chat. Come join me live on Zoom. We'll speak face to face. And I'm looking forward to meeting some of you right now. And for everyone who is watching the recording, we have the link to the free seminar in the chat. We have the link to our English Everyday community in the chat. And we have our email address, support@chrisamericos.com, in the chat. You can use all of those things to get our help and to communicate with us after this live call has finished. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone who's live, click that Zoom link right now, and I'm going to speak with you face to face over on Zoom. Have a great day, and let's improve your fluency the fastest way possible so that you get real results and you're not just stuck on English. See everybody next time.